Hey everybody, welcome back to part two of our two-part series helping you get started in the shibboleth lifestyle. My name is Kim Danke. I am your fast track instructor. I'm thrilled to be here. So while we are waiting, because I give everybody until 8:03 to get logged in, please let me know again, because the only way that I can help it helps me get to know you is if you tell me where you are watching from, where you're from, what area. If you're new here for a refresh, and if you were on last night, let me know if you were on last night. And if you took notes last night, please go ahead and grab those notes because I'm going to ask you some of those questions tonight. Awesome, Lynn, thank you. Lynn has got her chat set to all panelists and attendees, which is fabulous. Thank you. If you have not set your chat to all panelists and attendees, please look down there and click chat, then click all panelists, and then you'll see the option for all panelists and attendees. Click there. Okay, hey, I said Lynn from Wetumpka on last night. Thank you for coming back tonight. Hey, Jeannie from Canton. Alma from Adairsville and was on last night. Hey, Kim Stroud, good evening. Casey Vaughn on last night from Trian, Georgia. Christina Smith, Covington, Georgia, was on last night. And Jennifer from Cartersville was on last night. And Nicole in Dalton, Georgia, wanted to attend last night but was not able to. It is recorded and it's already in the video library, or you can watch it live, or the live version in Facebook, however you want to do that. Hey, Sherry Pruitt from Florida was on webinar last night. Awesome. Rebecca and Matthew attended last night and here tonight. Hello, glad you're here. And Janice, hey Janice, I made it on tonight. Old Fort, Tennessee. Rebecca Gilbert, Montgomery, Alabama. Tammy was here last night. Melissa Driggers, Fairhope, Alabama. New was on last night. And Jennifer from Ackworth, Georgia, attended last night. New member. Hey, Jerry and Sharon, glad y'all are back tonight. Susan, I saw the Levan and I wanted to say Suzanne Levan and I came out Suzanne. Sorry. Susan was on here last night from Ackworth, Georgia. Hey, Lisa from Snellville on last night. Stephanie Nix back from last night in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Hey, Roseanne. We're doing great. I hope that you are too. Thank you for being here back tonight. Hey, Linda from Hiram, Georgia on last night. Hey, Annette from Conway, South Carolina. She was here last night too. Hey, Patty from Valdosta on last night. Glad that you're here. Hey, Eddie. Hey, Eddie, I talked to you on the phone this weekend. Eddie and Melinda from Ringgold last night and tonight. Awesome. And Andrea from Fort Valley, Georgia. Well, welcome back. I am so glad that y'all are here with me. That is awesome. Let's see, on Facebook, some of them have already scooted up. So if I don't call your name, please forgive me. Tara from North Dakota. We're glad you're on here tonight. That's awesome. Hey, Tiffany from Athens, and Shay McSpadden. Hey, Shay from Bremen, Georgia, and Renee Ellenberg, or Renee Mahaney, new member, was on last night, but just got an email stating I was sorry you could not join. Don't worry about it. Sometimes Zoom sends out emails. If you were on, you don't need to worry about that. Emails can be weird. Hey, Gina. Sorry about that. I was trying to get the Siri to go away. I said hello to somebody. End, Siri, end. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. Hey, Brianne, glad you're back. Hey, Gina and Marie from Ringgold. Yay, we got a good group. Now, last night, hey, Joni and Ann and Vicky from Cohutta, Georgia was on last night, and Ann too. Awesome. Glad y'all are back with me. So we had 109 people register, and then last night we had 69 people on the webinar, and tonight we have 39 people on the webinar. Okay, so I taught class tonight already at the Kennesaw Shibby Shop, and one of the things I was telling them is that you got to keep coming back. You got to keep coming back so that you can learn everything that you need to learn. Why won't this Siri go away? There she is. Okay. I was trying to make her go away. I have my iPad up there so I can see Facebook, and I have Zoom right here. So, okay. Well, there's 41 on here now. Awesome. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to go over this little website here. This website, you don't need to screenshot it or do anything because you're going to have access to this. You're going to have access to it's already in the website. It's already in the fast track laps for you to have access to and all of that. So you don't need to worry about screenshotting it. If you're going to do anything, it's more important to take notes that will benefit you on a daily basis than screenshotting this thing that you're going to have access to. Hey, Judith, glad you're back. Just finished her journaling for the day. Way to go. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to hear some more foods that go in these categories, because when you are new in this lifestyle and you're starting to learn this lifestyle, it's all about figuring out what you like and in what categories, hey Carrie, and in what categories they go in, because we want you to be able to author your own meal plan. So it's very important to start making those lists of your favorites and what you liked. Hey, Judy, glad you're here with us. That's awesome. So I'm going to, as we get to a new category, I'm going to read the category list so that you can start hearing the types of foods that are in the categories. I'm going to go over these cooking oils one time. We went over them last night, but it does not hurt to hear it again, especially in the beginning. And we didn't talk about condiments last night, but I am going to talk about those. Hey, Cheryl, glad you're here. Thank you. So we're talking about condiments tonight. And then I'm not going to go over cooking oils and condiments on every single row because I will have done it once, and once should be enough for tonight. Okay. And then we're going to talk about what goes together. So we have 7 categories of food. All foods make their way into these categories based on their nutritional value and how they respond in your body. So category 1 is a lean protein. You can have 2 to 8 ounces of this food. I use this one hand. This is my protein hand. This is my protein source hand, whether it's lean protein or whatever. But if you are a measurer, so I've never even just measured ounces. I recently did. I think that I just got started, Cheryl, so you're good. And I think I measured something last week out of curiosity because somebody at a recent class in Kennesaw was saying that they had just measured some meat and it was way more than they thought. And they were like, wow, I may not have been giving myself enough protein. But anyway, so I did do some measuring recently. But since I started in the beginning, because I'm an easy peasy girl, I do not want anything complicated. So lean protein, that's my lean protein source. If you are a measurer, you would just want to do somewhere in the range of 2 to 8 ounces. Ladies, it might be best if you stick in 2 to 6. Men, you could go up to the 8. So some things that are in that category are egg whites, fish, chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National 97% lean beef frank, you can have one of those, and 96% lean ground meat. Now, again, this is a tiny list, but it's starting to give you an idea of the foods that would be considered lean enough to be in a category 1. So we're going to talk right down here about this lean meat real quick. That can be beef, chicken, turkey. That's that ground meat. That can be anything that's 96% lean or greater. You've got your low fat and your fat free cottage cheese here, but a full fat cottage cheese is a protein plus fat. So these are lean enough to fall into the category 1. And the reason that boar's head is specifically mentioned here is we know that it's a very lean brand. And so we list that out there specifically, but there's a lot of other lean deli meat out there as well. If you're choosing a pork tenderloin, please make sure venison, Tiffany on Facebook, is a lean protein as long as it has not been processed with more fat than it would be lean on this. Okay, so if you're processing it by itself without adding fat, you're good to go. You can cook it in MCT oil, that type of thing. But yes, but it also depends on how much fat was processed into it, Tiffany. But it should be a 1. So if you're going to do pork tenderloin and you happen to see any visible fat on that pork tenderloin, go ahead and trim that off, because see, these lean proteins keep us safe when we eat them with those energy carbs and those fruit, and we don't want any random fat on there to be collected if we ate that with an energy carb or fruit. So if you see any fat on a pork tenderloin, go ahead and trim that off. All of your other pork products, though, are going to fall into the protein plus fat category. And then fish. We talked about shellfish last night, but all fish, just all fish in general, are right here. So, and then your egg whites are here. And then we have a flame. You see this flame and this plus sign? First of all, this plus sign does not mean we're doing math. We're not doing math. It just means we're putting these things together as part of our meal. And this is a flame because eating a lean protein is excellent for efficient fat burning. Now, last night I said that there were 5 of the 7 categories that you can eat by themselves. So you're going to want to, if you don't mind, please type in to the chat feature the 5 that you can eat by themselves. No, Roseanne, I don't weigh cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. You can just use whatever the little packaging is. And then Lynn, ground Italian sausage. If it's approved, probably a 4, probably a protein plus fat, Lynn. Okay, so let's see. Jamie, Lynn, Elma, Melissa. Yes, so we got 1, and Joni, and oh my goodness, y'all all know it. I can't even do it. Annette, you got to take that 3 out. Let's see. Most of these are good. Y'all are getting it. Y'all are getting it. Okay, awesome. So it's the lean protein, fibrous carbs, protein plus fat, superfoods, and shellfish. And that's what I was seeing fly through there so quickly. Okay. So good job. Good job. Those are the ones that you can eat by themselves. You just don't eat your energy carbs or your fruit by itself. So what this row right here is saying is that you can eat lean protein by itself. You can cook it up in the right oil. You can doctor it up with the right condiments, and you'd have an excellent fat burning meal. Now, still, you don't double the portion just because you're doing one thing. It's still this, okay? It's just that's what you've chosen to do. So cooking oils, these are healthy cooking oils or fats. You can use up to 1 tablespoon for your serving. Our most highly recommended oil is MCT oil. The MCT oil in the ingredients need to say 100% medium chain triglyceride oil. It shouldn't say medium chain triglycerides from coconut oil. That would not be 100% MCTs, because coconut oil is only 66% MCTs. 100% MCTs have had all the MCTs pulled out and put into an oil, not partly MCT, part long chain triglyceride. Ghee butter, you can also use that. It's 40 to 45%. I use ghee butter when I need or want the food that I'm cooking, that's a lean protein, to have a butter flavor. That's when I use that. And I mean, people do use it occasionally with a protein plus fat. It's just that you've already got some fat in that. So I typically kind of shy away, but I still think you could do it up to 50 calories. We're going to talk about our condiment rule next. And then you could use 0-calorie cooking spray, any 0-calorie cooking spray, no matter what it's called. Okay, let's go touch base back on this MCT. When you're buying MCT, make sure that it says that you can cook with it on the bottle, because there's some MCTs out there that are emulsified and you don't want to cook with those. So just make sure that it says okay to cook with it. The kind that we sell in our store is Zero Drag. That's the brand name, Zero Drag. And it can be cooked with, and it's optimized for cooking. So you can use that. But what we're not going to use is we're not going to use olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil. Those are long chain triglycerides. They are a longer fat lipid. They take longer to burn up, and they're also extremely dense. And so they just take a long time to burn up. So listen to this statement. This is going to be huge. It'll make you not want to use those other unapproved oils. Those unapproved oils have a great propensity to be stored on your body as fat. Whereas MCT oil has almost no propensity to be stored on your body as fat. Okay, so let's make sure that we're using an item that has almost no propensity to be stored on our body as fat. So let's see, I got a question. Yep, Melissa, you got it. You got it. It's for one serving of, let's say you're cooking yourself a chicken breast. One, you could use up to a tablespoon. But if you're using 4 chicken breasts, maybe you're making them for the family, you can use 4 tablespoons in that because you're going to need it to make sure it's cooked up. So 1 tablespoon per portion. All right, let's look at some condiments. So you can use any 0-calorie condiments. There are a lot of calories in condiments. I mean, I'm talking like thousands. You can go get a dressing, it's not dressing, a salad, and you think you're doing so great, but then you pour all this dressing on there and you got 1,000-calorie salad. I mean, I've looked at stuff on menus before, because in a lot of restaurants now they're having to put the calories on stuff. And I'm like, what? I can't believe that salad has that much in it. But anyway, you just want to make sure that you're careful with the calories. So you can use anything 0-calorie. You can use 15-calorie or less spices and seasonings. That's like those packets, like a taco seasoning packet or a spaghetti seasoning or Italian seasoning. You can use salt and pepper. If you're a coffee drinker, you can use 15-calorie or less coffee creamers. You can use salsa, salsa. And some of these things are just very random. You may not even ever consider using them. Reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. All of those are considered condiments. Now, there are so many things in the food library or that can be approved and used as a condiment that we can't get them all into the food library. So there's still things out there that could be used as a condiment that haven't been put in the food library. But if you follow the condiment rule, even if it's not in the food library, you can still use it as a condiment. So for example, we've got, I'm going to talk about spaghetti sauce because I just recently had this happen. Let me tell you the rule first. We call the rule 5, 2, and few. 5 is the amount of sugars that you would not want to go over. So you want to look for 5 grams of sugar or less per serving and 2 grams of fat or less per serving. So that's the 2 bits of information that you're going to look at on a nutrition label to see if you could use it as a condiment. If it follows that rule and you're not going to use more than 50 calories worth of condiments, then you can use that for a condiment. We're going to talk in a second about how to have multiple condiments on a meal and still not go over your 50 calories. So I was in the store recently and I always buy the Classico traditional pizza sauce. Well, I went into a different store and they did not have that brand, but they had 6 other pizza sauces on the shelf. Well, instead of pulling out my phone and looking up the website, what might be approved, which would have taken me longer to do, I just applied the condiment rule. So I stood about, Roseanne, we don't really worry about too much sodium. I mean, we don't do a lot of talk about sodium, but if you're low sodium, we don't really focus on sodium hardly at all. So eating like this will kind of limit it. Unless you're constantly eating like a frozen meals or boxed stuff. And yeah, we just don't, eating like this, we really don't have to worry about it too much. But thank you for asking. So what I did was I took the 6 pizza sauces that were on the shelf and I turned them around so I could look at just the nutrition label on all 6. I started scanning the sugars because if it had more than 5 grams of sugar, I didn't even need to look at the fat. It wasn't going to work. So I just flipped those around that didn't work. Then the ones that were remained, I looked at the fat content. And if it had more than 2 grams of fat, I just flipped them around. So then I was left with 2. I just picked one, which I thought I picked the one that had the cutest jar. But anyway, so that's how I picked out my pizza sauce in the store following the 5, 2, and few rule. The one thing about condiments is you can have 50 calories of condiments with every single meal if you want to. But over a week's time, if you did 50 calories worth of condiments with every single meal, that is going to add up to 1,050 calories. How many calories are in 1 pound of fat? Yep. Awesome. Y'all took notes. That's great. 3,500 calories. That's right. So you got 3,500 calories in a pound of fat. And if you want to burn off a pound of fat, you got to be in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. So adding 1,050 calories per week to your meals, you might not want to do that if you don't have to. Okay. Good job on Facebook. I see y'all there. Thank you. You don't really want to add them. Just be picky. So my thing about is if the condiment is going to make that meal taste like it should, then use the condiment. But what I figured out was that I don't need to slap a piece of cheese on everything I eat. So I'm just going to be more choosy in that. Yes, Emily, I will repeat that. I'm going to finish this and I'll repeat that. So you just want to be choosy with these condiments, okay? Now let's say that you want to have multiple condiments on a meal. So I'm just going to use something simple. Let's say that you're making yourself a 96% lean ground burger, meat burger, making that burger. And let's say that you want a piece of cheese. Well, I'm going to talk about Borden fat-free cheese. It's got 30 calories in it. Well, let's say you want some mustard. Mustard doesn't have any calories in it, and it works. So that's no calories. And then, so if your cheese has taken up 30 calories of the 50, mustard's not taking up any of the calories. Your ketchup, maybe you want ketchup, you got 20 calories worth, and that's about 1 serving of ketchup. And so that's how you could do multiple condiments on a meal. You'd want to make sure that all the condiments follow the 5 and 2 rule, and you're not going to go more than 50 calories worth of condiments, even if it's multiple condiments. And Emily says, can you repeat? I think it had it backwards. Yeah, 5 sugars and 2 fats on condiments. Yes. Now, one way to remember that, Emily, is this. The word sugar has 5 letters. So that's how you can remember that. Jamie, is the Borden fat-free cheese a category 1 or a condiment? Both. So that's a great question. So Jamie's asking, is the fat-free cheese, Borden fat-free cheese, a category 1 or a condiment? Well, it can be used as both. Let's say that you're making yourself an approved grilled cheese sandwich, and the cheese is your main protein source. You can use 3 to 4 slices. 4 is a little bit too many. I did that once to try. I use about 3. You can do about 3 or 4 slices in there, and that would be your cat 1. That would be your category 1. And then you'd use an approved bread. You got approved category 2 bread. That's a category 1 and 2. Okay. But if you're using it as a condiment, then it's called a condiment. That's right. That's right, Jamie. Yes, it does. Melissa, it melts pretty good. It melts one of the best, in my opinion. I think the Borden fat-free cheese tastes good too. So yes, that's my favorite. The Borden fat-free cheese is my favorite. I don't know what they've done to it to make it so good, but it's good in my opinion. Okay, so what this row is saying is you can take a lean protein, cook it up with the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and have an excellent fat-burning meal. We're going to be going over these rows a little bit faster now because we've gone over a lot of these things. Polly Jones says that she loves the fat-free Food City cheese too. So if you have a Food City near you, she likes theirs. Okay, so category 7, shellfish. Now remember, category 7 is really just a what? What category is it? It's really just a that's right. That's right. Y'all are doing awesome. Lean protein. Thank you. So category 7 is really just a lean protein. So let's say that you're talking with somebody in your new shibboleth language and you say, I'm going to eat some corn tonight. And then your friend says, well, make sure you have a lean protein or a fibrous carb with that. You can know it can come from the category 1 lean proteins or the category 7 shellfish lean proteins. They work. The way I kind of look at it though, because remember the fish is just listed out in regular lean proteins. The way I see that is if it swims like a fish, it goes up there. But if it is a creature that lives in water that's not a fish, it goes in the shellfish category, even if it doesn't have a shell. Octopus doesn't have a shell, but this is where octopus would be, okay? So we got crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. Those are some examples of that. You can take that, cook it up in the right oil. And if you like lobster or shrimp and you want that butter flavor with that, like you're dipping it, that's where you'll choose to use maybe the ghee butter. Okay. So you can use the right oil to go with your item and then doctor it up with the right condiments and you'll have an excellent fat burning meal. Okay, so we're going to touch base on this category. We really did, this is not like a numbered category, but see, cooking oils and fats and condiments are really categories too. They're just not numbered. But this one is also not numbered. And I'm going to talk pretty quickly about this one because I'm not going to focus on this one a lot. There's a lot more to learn about hemp products. And if there's videos that you can watch about those. We do the Zyad patty. That's our favorite. That's what we sell in the store, the Zyad. And it is good. I used it and it smells like I'm going to eat popcorn. It smells like I'm going to get popcorn at the movie theater. That's what I liked about it. Okay, HHF is a different category. HH stands for Hemp Hearts and HF stands for Hemp Flakes. So we just shorten it to HHF. Hemp Hearts are a category 6 superfood. So if you were taking notes last night, please answer this question. What qualifies a food to be a superfood? I know some of you are scanning your notes right now. That's right. That's right, Joni. All 4 macronutrients. Sorry about that, Kim. I was asking what qualified a food to be a superfood, and Joni gave us the answer right there. A superfood has all 4 macronutrients in there. That's right, Polly. So we got hemp hearts, and they're a superfood. But hemp flakes are a category 1 and 2 together. What a hemp flake is, it's a defatted hemp heart. Well, let's talk about those 4 macronutrients. Now, water is a macronutrient on planet Shibboleth, okay? But we're just going to take it out of the equation right now. So we've got protein, we've got carbs, and we have fat. So when you defat something, and you're just left with well, I can't get my fingers to do what I want them to do. You are just left with the protein and the fiber. Well, there's enough protein in it to be considered a category 1, and there's enough fibrous carbs in it to be considered a category 2. So hemp flakes are actually both of those together. There's not a ton of food that are multiple categories, but there are some. So I just wanted to explain what that meant. If you're looking up a food in the food library and you see that it's got multiple categories, it just means that it has enough of the nutritional value to make up, to be in it to make up being part of that category. So for example, we'll talk about something in just a second. I'll explain more. Very sweet hemp flakes have a little touch of mesquite flavoring with, a touch of maple syrup with some mesquite flavoring and some cassava. So they are just a little bit sweeter. Hemp protein powder, hemp oil. So you can use hemp products if you wanted to. You can take a category 1 lean protein, put it up with some hemp products, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you would have an excellent fat burning meal. And basically this row is saying the same thing, that you could take some shellfish and use the hemp products with it, cook it up in the right oil and doctor it up. Okay, so now we've come to a new category, category 2, fibrous carbs. And it gives us kind of a portion if we want to know half a cup up to 1 cup. Half a cup is really best in weight loss, when you're in weight loss mode. But I've never measured it. I just put it under my hand on my plate and I cover it up and then I'm good to go. So some examples are broccoli, asparagus, squash, okra, green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, dill pickles. So these are all category 2 fibrous carbs. Now, because y'all been asking such great questions the past 2 nights, I'm going to go ahead and touch base on these pickles. Pickles can also be used, and actually all of that pretty much can also be used as freebies if they haven't been cooked in MCT oil. Okay, you can use these as freebies too if you needed them. But if you're using them as part of a meal, call it a category 2 because it's part of a meal. But if you're using it as a freebie, then you can call it a freebie. So when you look into the food library and you're playing around and you're looking things up, it's probably going to say category 2, freebie, blah, blah, blah. That just means that you can use it either way, however you choose to use it. So that works. So our fastest fat burning combination is a lean protein and a fibrous carb cooked up in MCT oil. Now, some of these things like low fat cottage cheese, you're not going to use MCT oil with that kind of thing. So really what we're talking about is like if you were taking some egg white, some fish, some chicken breast, and you cook that up in some MCT oil, and then you paired it with a fibrous carb, category 2 fibrous carb, that's your fastest fat burning combination. So this is combining foods. There's no insulin release going to come on this. You are having a lot of calorie burn in this meal because it takes a lot of calorie burn to break down the density of a good protein and a fibrous carb. If you've cooked it up in MCT oil, you're getting a little bit of thermogenic action there, and it's going to help you burn a few extra calories, and you're going to have an excellent fat burning meal. Okay, so this same thing right here, it just says you have a category 7 with a category 2. Cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you have an excellent fat-burning meal. Polly Jones said, I love pickled okra. Is pickled okra a freebie? You know what? Let's click on okra. Did you see what I did? I just clicked on okra. But I am going to see if we've got just pickled. I'm not familiar with pickled okra. I'm not even sure if I spelled pickled right. Probably didn't. You know what? I'm just going to put in okra. That'll be easier. Okra. Okay. Pickled okra, any brand. I'm going to click on it. It is a fibrous carb or a freebie. So you can use it either one of these ways. And then Jeannie says, any type of squash? Yes. Yes. And zucchini does fall into this category. Yes, it does. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad you liked that, Anne. Emily says, if I eat a tortilla or bread for a sandwich and then a pickle with a meal, how do I count each? Well, if you're using a category 2 tortilla or bread, that's a 2, and your okra is a 2. So if let's say you're having some lean meat with it, some deli meat, that's a 1. So it's really just a 1 and a 2 because you can have multiple 2s in a meal as long as it's portion controlled. Okay. So Jennifer's got, let me do this one first. Melissa, y'all are asking the same thing. This number right here, this is the weight loss meter. I'm going to pop over into the food library, the big food library, and show you how that works. So let's say that I'm going to click on meal replacements for this because it's still going to work out for us because it helps us find some good meal replacements that are great. But the numbers that y'all are talking about are the weight loss meter. So we've categorized foods into the 7 categories, but another way to and I'm just use the word judge, another way to judge food is how good is it for weight loss? So we have a little thing called the weight loss meter, and you see it right here, weight loss meter. It goes from a -3 to a +3. And there's a 0 right in the center, not going to help you, not going to hurt you. Negative numbers are better for weight loss. Positive numbers, if you have them ever so often in weight loss, they're not going to hurt you. It'll be all right. But if you're doing them all the time in weight loss, you're probably not going to see the results that you want. But they're kind of better for maintenance. So you just want to keep that in mind. So I have clicked on meal replacement. Let's see. Susan asked, I had grilled chicken, broccoli, and 1 slice of Borden's fat-free cheese on top of the broccoli. Is that legal? Yes. I mean, I'm assuming that was your only condiment. If that was your only condiment, that is legal. Okay, so I've chosen meal replacements just because it's a good one. Yes, that's it. That you can do that. So I'm going to take this little ball here and I'm going to slide this on this slider scale and I'm going to set it to -2, -3 meal replacements. That means those are going to be and I have to hit the set button and this is going to recalculate this list. So I have to set up, I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, I put them at the -2 and -3 meal replacements because I know that those are the best for weight loss. Well, right now you can kind of scan down here. Do you see that blue number? That's what that is. That's the -2 and -3. It's when you pop over into an item, they're different colors here, but it's still about the weight loss meter. And I love this food library. This thing is a gem. I mean, it gives you what the approved portions are. It tells you a description of how to use things typically. If there's a linked recipe and if members have put in where they found it, which members can do that. Members can put in where they find things, then they're there. I had AHS pancakes for dinner tonight. They were delicious. So I had these pancakes for dinner and I did 2 packages because I could. And see this description down here? They even give you different ways to eat this and they give you the different weight loss meters they would be if you did them these different ways. So cool. Polly says, I had corned beef and cabbage cooked in MCT oil for supper, canned corned beef. Yummy. Sounds good. Sounds really good. The weight loss meter is awesome. And the weight loss meter, it depends on how you're using things, okay? So let me give an example. Susan Lynch asked about the cheese. So she had chicken and broccoli. Well, chicken and broccoli is going to be like a -3 on the weight loss meter. When she added that cheese, this is like for the full meal, if you think about it, she maybe went to a -2 rather than a -3 by adding the cheese. It just kind of changes it just a little bit because she's adding a little bit of calories to it. So each food item has the weight loss meter, but your meals can really, be looked at in that way as well. All right, well, I'm gonna pop back in here into the fast track. Okay, so you can have your lean proteins with your fibrous carbs. All right, now we've come to a new category, category 6, superfood. We already talked about what qualified a food to be a superfood. Let's see, Matthew, pan-seared tilapia with 0-calorie seasoning or chicken and MCT oil. Okay, those are category 1s. Yellow squash is a category 2, and a slice of nature's own 40-calorie life keto bread. That would be fine. Now, it would be better without the bread because less bread is best, but it still would be approved. I would say that almost if I was like rating that particular meal, the bread is going to make the weight loss meter not be as great for that meal. You might be like at a -1, where if you leave off the bread, that meal would be like a -3. So you just want to kind of keep those things in mind. Yep. Awesome. You're welcome. So we got our pintos here, black beans, red beans, soybeans. Now, if you're eating them by themselves, which you can eat superfoods by themselves. You can do a cup up to 1.5 cups. Now, if you're eating them as a component of a meal with another protein source and a fibrous carb, you're not going to do a cup to a cup and a half. All of that won't fit under your hands along with that other stuff, okay? You're going to do more like 1/4 of a cup. But if you're eating it by itself, you can do that amount. So this is where your peanut butter is, your nuts and your seeds, and avocados are here. So you can eat these superfoods by themselves, and you can doctor them up with the right condiments. Now, what do you not notice right here? There's 2 things that have changed. Well, let's talk about this. What do you not notice right there? Brienne, this combo chart, if you go into the video library, it's actually 2 places. If you go into the video library under fast track videos and go to the Sunday and Monday night webinars, click on the Monday night webinar, and one of the one of the resources is there. Also, Brienne, it's in the fast track. Let me show you. I'll go there. I'm going to show you the 2 places to find that chart that I was using. So we're going to click on videos and print material. I'm going to click on fast track right here in the videos. Do you see right here where it says fast track Sunday and Monday night webinars? Click there. And this is the same for any video. If a video has resources with it, I'm going to show you where to find it. So I'm going to click on Monday night webinar, which is what we're doing right now. Anytime there is a light blue box underneath the video, these are links and resources. And so what we're using right now, Brienne, is this one right here, Fast Track Combinations link. Now, that's one way to find it, but it's also in your Fast Track laps. So if you click on Dashboard, and then you click on the Fast Track, let's see. Right here in lap 3, it says save this simple food combining link. It's right there. So it's actually one of your tasks to save this as a favorite, either on your phone or on your computer, so you can access it. And once you've saved it, you can click that off that you've saved it. So it's 2 places. You're welcome. Okay, so yes, I'm getting lots of great answers on that. Yep, there's no flame, no fire. Thank y'all for answering that. And Polly's saying that she likes pinto beans and miracle rice together, which is a 6 and a 2, which is right down here. We just haven't gotten there yet, which is awesome. I love these ideas, Polly. Okay, yeah, there's no flame here, but that does not mean that you aren't in EFB. But in Shibboleth, one of the things that we want to do is start teaching you the nuances of food, kind of like that, those great questions. And then I was able to give you all those answers about the weight loss meter and how a full meal and the way you do a meal can change the weight loss meter for the whole meal altogether. These are nuances, okay? But this doesn't mean that you shouldn't eat it. You can. It just means that this is great for fat burning, where those others are excellent for fat burning. And then there's something else. There's a category that is not here anymore. What category was in all of those others up top, but it didn't show up here? That's right, Melissa, the oils. Yep, the MCT, the oils, the cooking oils. Yes, the cooking oils, they're not here. Okay, well, because these superfoods, some of them, see, superfoods vary greatly in their nutritional value, but some of these superfoods have a little bit more energy carb properties to them. We're not going to put fats with them. Now, you can use 0-calorie cooking spray, water, all of that. It's just not going to put your fats with it because you don't want to collect fat. So that's why that is no longer there. Okay, we're going to have a look at this. So we've already read the superfood type things. We've already read the category 2s. But what this is saying, this is where Polly was talking about an idea, was that she put some pintos and miracle rice together. Miracle rice is a category 2. It's not on this list, but she knows it's a category 2. So she has some beans and miracle rice, and that makes a great little meal, which is fabulous. Now, this is also where Travis says you get your beans and greens, you know, your green leafy vegetables and some beans. But let me just tell you what else you find right here, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Because your peanut butter is a category 6, and if you use a category 2 fibrous carb bread, yes, it's not listed there, but we have them, then you've got a peanut butter and jelly because you're going to use the condiment here, a fat-free jelly. Or if you don't like sugar-free stuff, there is a jelly called Jam Jam, or it's sweetened with stevia. You could use that. But this is where you find a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's amazing. Miracle rice is it's an item that is made with cognac noodles. And basically, miracle rice is considered a category 2, but it's also considered a freebie because it's just nothing but fiber and it's extremely low calorie. We'll look it up real quick so you can see what it looks like. We have miracle noodles. They're gluten-free too, so if you're gluten-free, yep, so these are fibrous carbs, they're freebies, and they're gluten-free. And here's what it says about it. These are freebies, but it's always best to use the hand rules, even with freebies, so you don't stretch your stomach. We do have these in our store. Yes, Roseanne. What it is it's angel hair shirataki pasta, guilt-free noodles, 0 calories, soy-free, cholesterol-free, vegan. And then you got all these recipes right there that would go with it. So that was the noodles. And then rice is just basically the same thing. It's just little bitty pieces. Miracle rice. And here are look at all the recipes that go with the miracle rice. The amazing forgotten chicken I hear a lot. Look, 580 people. That's what this number is. 580 people have said they like this meal. Yeah, when you're looking at the recipe library, you can look at the count of likes. That's people that have said they've liked this. Let's see. Donna says, I tried the miracle noodles. They absorb the flavor of whatever you mix it with, and be sure to rinse them. Good tips. Thank you, Donna. Thank you. Oh, a Premier Designs jeweler, right? I recognize your name. See my Contempo earrings and necklace. Okay, so we have a new category right here. Category 4, protein plus fat. So you'll notice here that we have 2 to 6 ounces. And the other lean proteins were 2 to 8 ounces. Well, the reason that is because there's 1 gram of protein, there's 4 calories. In 1 gram of fat, there's 9. So you can do a few less ounces here, but you're still getting the same amount of calories. Okay, so that's why it's a little bit less. But have I ever taken the time to measure that? No, I just put it underneath my hand, and if it fits, I eat it. And it worked, so I keep doing it. Whole eggs are here, steak, olive cuts of steak are here, pork ribs, beef ribs, turkey spam, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa as long as they don't have more than 50% of the calories from fat. So let's talk about this lean ground meat. Again, that could be turkey, chicken, beef. 93 to 95.9 is a protein plus fat. 96% leaner or greater is a lean protein. But if it's less than 93% lean on a ground meat, it is not approved for a perfect day. You could still have it on a holiday if you wanted to, but it's not approved for a perfect day. Basically, it's not really 85% meat. In fact, or whatever it is, they take some fat and add a little bit of meat to it. It's pretty fatty in the ground meat arena. So that's why we want to do 93 to 95.9 as your protein plus fats, 96 and above for your lean proteins. I'm going to talk about turkey spam. Turkey spam. I think it's funny that it's on this list because most people these days are being pigeonholed into eating, and I'm not saying these things are bad. I'm not saying these things are bad, but eating clean. Oh, I wouldn't eat that. That's got this in it and that in it, and do all this stuff. Well, you know what? Not everybody subscribes to all of that. So what Shibboleth is the food library is just extremely comprehensive. If we look at the nutritional label and according to what it says, if it will work for one of these categories, then we put it in there. Some member is going to want to know that. And let's say that you're a person who really, really likes like grass-fed beef. You want grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and that's what you want to eat, and that's the budget you've got, then go for it. But we want you to know absolutely everybody on whatever budget you're on can do this lifestyle, okay? Anybody. So whether you got grass-fed, grass-finished beef budget, or whether you got turkey spam budget, or whether you just like turkey spam, it doesn't matter. I love that we are just comprehensive. So we're going to teach you what to do. It's now up to you to choose the food that you purchase based on what's approved or not approved. So a category 4 can be eaten by itself. Oh, let's see. That's right, Nicole. She's answering Jennifer's. Thank you. Less than 93% lean beef would not be approved for a perfect day. Okay, so you can eat a category 4 by itself, but optimally you'd have it with a category 2. So I've learned out at restaurants, I just always order the broccoli. Do you know how much broccoli around my city is good. I'm like, wait a minute, I like Guston's broccoli. I like Chili's broccoli. And then I'll try a broccoli. I'm like, that's not that's not Guston's. It doesn't taste as good as that one. So the broccoli is pretty amazing out at restaurants. So I do that a lot. And then let's scroll down again. We have a new category right here. Category 3, energy carbs. You could do a quarter of a cup up to half a cup. Quarter of a cup is best for weight loss mode, but I use my 2 hands and this is what I do. This is where my quarter of a cup goes right there. This is where all of your potatoes are: white potato, sweet potato, oatmeal, steel cut oats, weight control oatmeal, long grain brown rice, quinoa, lima beans, peas, tomatoes, onions, carrots, whole wheat pasta, and whole grain pasta. All of those are there. Now remember, ding, 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 ding. This is one that you want to make sure that you train your brain. If I want to eat an energy carb that I like, it must be eaten with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Lean protein and a fibrous carb. So let's go over some of these things right here. You can have whole wheat pastas. You get about a quarter of a cup of them, but I'm telling you, there's better pastas in this lifestyle. Some of the Explore Cuisine pastas are good. The carbonara pastas are good. Now, carbonara pastas are a category 1, 2, and 3 together. That means they've got enough lean protein in it to be a 1, it's got enough fibrous carbs in it to be a 2, and it's got enough energy carb properties in it to be a 3. So if you have a 3 in your pasta, which meat category are you not going to eat with that? Oh, it is. Melissa, are we okay to cook fibrous carbs in approved oils? Yes, yes, you can. Polly says that Travis used to say that 93% and below is you feed that to your in-laws. That's funny. Okay, awesome, awesome. Y'all are starting to apply this information. This is wonderful. Yeah, so if you're using the carbonara pasta, you're not going to pick any category 4 protein plus fat with that. But these Explore Cuisine pastas, they're category 1 and 2 together. Good job, Tiffany, on Facebook. They're category 1 and 2 together. So you can have your meat source from either one because it's a 1 and a 2. So you can have it from the protein plus fat or the lean protein. So that's the application type stuff. So let's have a look at carrots. Carrots, once they're cooked, they're an energy carb. But if you wanted to eat some baby carrots as a freebie, you could do that. But if they're cooked, you got to consider it an energy carb. Tomato and onion, people are always surprised that they're here. What I like to tell people is they do bring an insulin release, so we do need to be careful with them. If you are eating enough tomato or onion that is going to be quarter of a cup or more, then consider it a category 3 and combine it properly. But if you're going to have like a slice of tomato or a slice of onion just to go on a burger or something, like as a condiment, you still got to count that in your condiment calories, but then you can do that as a condiment. But if you're having enough up to a quarter of a cup or more, consider it a category 3 so that you can make sure that you control that insulin with the other foods that you put with it. So this is where all of your peas are, lima beans, and most of your lighter colored beans are here. And okay, so if you want a category 3, you must eat it with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Let's talk about the science of it again real quick. You eat an energy carb. It elevates your blood sugar. Your pancreas secretes insulin to regulate the blood sugar. But now that you know this bit of information, let me eat this right. Well, let you the whatever lean protein you choose, the protein in that, and whatever fibrous carb you choose, the fiber in that are going to help dissipate, neutralize, control that insulin so that it's controlled within the confines of that one meal, which is good. That's what you want to do. Okay. So that's the reason you do that. Category 5, fruit. All fruit is here. I'm only going to read the first 4. Berries, apples, oranges, and grapefruit. The reason I read the first 4 is because those are the best for weight loss. They are lower in the glycemic index, so you could use those. So let's say that you want to have a small apple in the morning. for breakfast. And maybe you choose to make an egg white spinach omelet. Well, the protein in the egg whites and the fiber in the spinach are going to help neutralize the insulin release from the apple. But you ate a small apple. You didn't overdo the apple. So it was able to control that. Some people right now are doing berries in the Greek plain yogurt with some hemp flakes, which are a category 1 and 2. So you can do that. It makes a really nice little parfait. All right, so now we're within our last bit of time together, we're going to go over some other just foods that people desperately want to know about, okay? Breads. Less bread is best. It does say this, okay? And you don't want to ever have more than 100 calories of bread with a meal, okay? So if you need a guideline for that, that would be your guideline. So the La Tortilla Factory 50-calorie tortilla, the Olay Extreme Wellness high-fiber tortilla, Healthy Life bread. I would say Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread, but they quit making it. And I'm not sure who said it earlier, but she listed out the bread, the Keto Life or something that Nature's Own came up with to take the place of that. Bran crisp bread. It's not really a bread. It's more like a dry cracker, but it's very good. There's sunflower, there's pumpkin seed, then there's honey and raisin. So and then they have original. So bran crisp bread is good. Healthy Life hot dog buns and the 100-calorie Thomas Light English muffins. So you can do all of those. You just don't want more than 100 calories of bread or even tortillas and stuff. And you may not use two. I mean, if you're just making yourself a wrap, yeah, thank you, Matthew. Thank you. If you're just making yourself a wrap, you're probably only going to eat one, okay? But if you're using these La Tortilla Factory, I mean these Olay Extreme Wellness high fiber tortillas to make the fat burning chicken enchilada recipe from the recipe library, then you're going to want to make, you probably would want two because all of the meal that you're making is wrapped up inside of those. Where if you're going to have a wrap, you might do a side item. So I probably wouldn't do two in that case. I might do two in the other. This is important to mention that that Olay, they have a lot of different kinds of the tortillas. They have a big one that's 80 calories, and that one, you wouldn't want to buy that one unless you were only going to specifically make one wrap with that, because you wouldn't want to use that one for your fat burning chicken enchiladas, because if you're eating two of them, that puts you at 160 calories of a bread thing, and you don't really want that. Okay, so approved sweeteners, stevia, Splenda, monk fruit, xylitol, all of that works. Now, people often question the Splenda. We're not promoting Splenda. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't. Okay, approved beverages. Water, 0-calorie beverages of any type, unsweet or approved tea, coffee with approved sweeteners. Okay, so you can do all of that. None of it takes the place of getting in nice, clean, clear water. Okay, and then we have cheese, and we'll read over these fairly quickly. Fat-free feta cheese, Kraft fat-free cheese, Borden fat-free cheese, Cabot extra light cheese, Laura Lynn fat-free cheese, Kroger brand fat-free cheese, and Lifetime fat-free cheese. Travis says he likes the Lifetime fat-free cheese the best. He buys it from their website and has it shipped to his house. I have never done that. And the two that I like right here best are Cabot extra light cheese. It's actually a category 4, protein plus fat. I use it to shred a little bit of cheese on a salad. When I buy that Cabot extra light, I go ahead and I chop it up into 50-calorie increments. That way they're ready to go, and I'll shred it. I actually like that better than a shredded fat-free cheese. I like using that, but I like the fat-free singles. So, and I use the Borden mostly. Okay. We're looking at lean protein milk now. This is important, okay? You want to use fat-free Fairlife milk, or if you have a Kroger near you, you can do Kroger Carb Master milk, and you can also do hemp milk. The important thing about these milks is that they are fat-free and they've been fortified with protein. With milks, we're often using milk with a starchier item, let's just say a cereal. Even the best of cereals are still a little bit starchy. So we want to make sure that we are using a lean protein milks anytime it calls for milk. It's actually a lean protein, and if you're using it as a component of a meal, you can do about 8 ounces. But if you're just drinking a big old glass of milk as you're running out the door in the morning, you could do up to 16 ounces of that if you want to. It's really important when it comes to your cereal choices. You're going to find that we have cereals, and we call cereals phase 1 and phase 2. I don't want to confuse you with saying phase 1 and phase 2 like there's real big phases to move into when there's really not. Phase 1 is the foundation of the program, and it's always going to be the best of the best foods. Phase 2 is us really just opening up more variety to you in the inner aisles of the grocery store, and that's not necessarily, better for you, but it's the variety that people are looking for, and we want to make sure that we tell you what you can use out of what's there. So let's say that you're wanting to eat some Captain Crunch. That's a phase 2 approved cereal. You would have to have this lean protein milk with it in order for it to work. Otherwise, it won't work. It's still starchy, and it requires that lean protein in that milk to offset that starchiness. Okay, I see a question. Emily says, I wanted to make the beef stroganoff recipe, but I have not been able to find fat-free cream cheese. My Walmart substituted a third fat-free. How does that count? I don't know. I'd have to look that up in a second. Remind me in the end, Emily. So Donna is asking if sugar-free coconut milk is approved. Let's look up these things. Let's look up these things because I was going to talk about almond milk. There we go. Eddie's asking about almond milk. And we're going to go to the food library, and I'm going to show you all a few things about this. I'm going to look up cream cheese first so I can keep these in order. And this is exactly what I do. If I don't know an answer to something, I do this. Now, I'll tell you something else I did. When I first started, I got everything out of my refrigerator and everything out of my pantry and came in here and looked it up. And then I would know whether or not I was going to buy that again in the future. If it wasn't approved, I'm not buying it. And then if it was approved, I would write on there how to use it. Okay, so we're going to pull up cream cheese. Let me just tell you where I find it. I don't know if you have a Kroger near you, but I have always been able to find the fat-free cream cheese at Kroger. Okay. So it doesn't say, Emily. I'm going to ask you to do this. In the Shibboleth Fixed It group on Facebook, the Shibboleth Fixed It group on Facebook, ask that question. Kim Shibboleth, she's kind of our food guru. She'll monitor that and she'll let you know because I don't know. Okay, Donna, let's look up coconut milk. I know the answer about almond milk, but let's look up coconut milk. Okay, so we've got So Delicious dairy-free coconut milk original coffee creamer. That's a creamer. Let me just put coconut. See if I see how I'm trying to do this to find what I'm looking for. You just play until you find it. Oh, and by the way, these blue links are filters. So if you need something to be gluten-free, you can click that filter. All right, so the word coconut is in all of those things. So I'm not going to look through all this right now, and I don't really know the answer, Donna. So that is another great question for that support group on Facebook, the Shibboleth Fixed It group. And if you're not in there, you can ask to be in there. Almond milk, I do know this, and I'm going to look it up so that you can see it. Almond milk is a category 4 protein plus fat. So if you want to drink almond milk, it must be used with a phase 1 cereal because they're better for you and they're not as starchy. So almond milk, any brand, we'll just look at it, see where it's called a perfect pairing item. And what perfect pairing means is that it doesn't exactly follow the rules, but we've determined that it will work. So right here, see where it says protein plus fat? It can be used as a condiment and perfect pairing. Obviously, you want the unsweetened version. And this is the description. Unsweetened almond milk is mostly fat and counts as a perfect pairing milk when used with when a quarter cup is paired with phase 1 cereals. It can also be used as a category 4 milk, or it can be used as a condiment, since you can use up to 50 calories of anything as a condiment as long as it meets the 5 and 2 rule. But that one probably doesn't. Yeah, it does. Keep in mind that total meal serving condiments must not go over 50 calories. Unsweetened almond milk is not a category 1 milk, so it cannot be used in place of Kroger Carb Master milk or fat-free Fairlife milk. That's important to note. That way, when you're looking at a recipe, or if you see and hear, that it must be had with protein milk, you wouldn't be able to substitute your almond milk for it. Now, right over here, do you see this button? I mean, this link, phase 1 cereal and phase 2 cereal? Phase 2 cereal is where you must have that protein milk with it, otherwise it doesn't work. Phase 1 cereals, I'll click on there so you can see the phase 1 cereals. That's the cereals that you can have almond milk with, because they're not quite as starchy, and that will still work with it. So those are all your phase 1 cereals. Sorry about that, Emily. Yes. Judith, what about in a shake? Well, I would not put almond milk in a shake. Okay, so a lot of shakes are, let's look up the Beverly shake. The thing about a shake is most of the calories that you're wanting are going to come from the nutrients in the shake. So they're often best to just mix it with water. Okay. Because if you just add that to it, then it could be just random calories. So what I would do is, Judith, is look up each individual shake and everything. But this Beverly International gives you lots of options to make it with it and to make the shake. So you can have this Beverly with Kroger Carb Master fat-free Fairlife milk or Egg Whites International, but you wouldn't put almond milk with this. Polly's asking, can you have phase 1 cereal with Fairlife milk? Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. It's just that if you want to use almond milk, it must be had with a phase 1 cereal. And if you want to do a phase 2 cereal, you must have it with one of the protein milks. But you can have one of the protein milks with any of the cereals. But you see right here where it says if you're making the Beverly shake, you can use water with it, Kroger Carb Master milk, fat-free Fairlife milk, or Egg Whites International. And then you can make it with other things, which we're not going to get into all that. That's another day. Otherwise, I'll be way over. And then breadings and flours, coconut flour, carb quick flour, Bob's TVP, almond flour. All of these are kind of category 2 fibrous carbs, which is great. I can make a category 2 fibrous carb biscuit and eat it as a side item. I like it that way. Here's some phase 1 cereals right here. We've already looked at some of those, but I'll read it out. Kashi Go Lean, K's Natural, and High Low Nutritious Living. The Kashi Go Lean can pretty much be found anywhere. We sell the K's Natural cereal at our store, and High Low Nutritious Living can be found out in some grocery stores as well. Not going to read over those condiments because I've already gone over condiments earlier, and I'm not going to read over all these restaurants. You can play in that, but what I want you to know is that you should look up your favorite fast food restaurants and see what is in there and how to order it. Because this will save you. Let's say that you've had a great day. You've had a perfect breakfast. You've had a perfect lunch. And then you've picked up the kids from after school program and they're screaming, they're yelling. You get stressed and you don't know what to do for dinner. Run by Chick-fil-A. Okay, order them some food. Get yourself some 8 to 12 grilled nuggets with a side salad with light Italian dressing, or 8 fried, yeah, I said fried nuggets with a side salad, light Italian dressing. You can even do their grilled filet, their fried filet, and their spicy fried filet with no bun, with side salad, light Italian dressing. And order them, and you keep your perfect day. So what you got to do is you've got to know the restaurants that you like to go to that will be your go-to thing when you need to. So don't let any excuses get in your way, because there's a lot of food you can eat on here. You just got to figure out what it is that you frequent the most and you like the most. If you are a person that has to have something to go around that filet, make sure you take either your own bread with you or tortilla, that type of thing. Not all fried foods work out at restaurants. Chick-fil-A's works, but their chicken strips don't. So that's why it's really important to look up in the restaurant guide and familiarize yourself with the ones you like to. Okay, let's see. Susan says, I just ordered several Mighty Muffins. I just started today. Can I still eat these this early? Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. I ate 20 Mighty Muffins in my first 20 days. I lost 12.5 pounds. Mighty Muffins are a -3 on the weight loss meter meal replacement. Oh yeah, do all those. That's awesome. Yes, yes. The one category that I need them to add right here is something on meal replacements. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop over to Facebook, because I've got my favorites listed in the Shibboleth new member fast track group. So I'm going to come over there. I'm going to then use the little search. See this little search? I'm going to use that. I'm going to type in meal replacement, and then I hit search, and it's going to pull up this post. These are my favorite meal replacements. So way back in January of this year, somebody asked me to put this list together after one of our webinars. So I did. So these are my favorite meal replacements. They're all very tasty. They're great for weight loss. And I put in some extra information on how I use them. So y'all can go there. So we've heard two groups that you might want to be a part of tonight. This Shibboleth new member fast track group, if you're not in there yet, and the Shibboleth Fixed It group. You'll want to be in that one as well. Anybody have any questions? Look, I started off with 51 people. I ended up with 38. So when we first got on here, there was 38. That number went up to 51, and now it's down to 38. I know that Travis is going on right now, so we got to get off. People jumped off to get to Travis. Oh, you're welcome, Nicole. You're welcome. Yeah, when we hop off of here, Travis is doing something. Let me show you. Let me show you where to find it. All of Travis's classes are going to be at this. For quick and easy access, travismartin.tv. So right now, right here, this is what he's doing right now. This is 90 days to reinvention. So when we hop off there, if you want to go listen to him, we're only 11 minutes in. So we can go right there and do a video by Travis tonight. But more than anything, I want y'all to know that you are part of the Shibboleth family now. We got to stay connected. This is not a short-term project. This never has an end date, okay? This is for life. This is the education that you needed to know in order to have a real solution to what was going on before Shibboleth. And it truly is. I know it is. I've been living it. I feel so much better. And let's just do it. Let's do it together. But whatever you do, never give up. Constantly ask for questions. Ask for clarification. Get the information that you need to know. Okay? Let's see. Emily, you're welcome. You're welcome, Emily. I'm so happy. Thank you. Awesome. Hey, Susan. You're welcome, Joni. You're welcome, Donna. You're welcome, Melissa. Y'all are so sweet. I didn't even see those coming in. Thank you. Thank you, Sherry and Vicky and Andrea. And Jennifer says, are meal replacements just that? Replace a meal combo? Yes. A meal replacement has all of the nutrition in it that to replace a meal. Yep. You're welcome, Sharon. Oh, thank you, Monica. Thank you. This lifestyle, it really just answered some prayers. It really did. I'm like, the Lord gave me such a huge gift with Shibboleth, and I want y'all to feel the same way. Oh, it is exciting, Alma. I'm glad that you are. You're welcome, Judy. If y'all haven't liked the Shibboleth public Facebook page yet, do that. I go live there every Monday through Friday morning, sometime in the 7 o'clock hour. I say that because that depends on what time I get up, get my makeup on and clothes on and all. Renee on Facebook, where do we order Mighty Muffins? Well, we sell a lot of them in our store. You could also go through the food library to Amazon and buy them on Amazon, but we do ask that you go through the food library to access Amazon because it'll give us a little kickback for the ministry. But you can buy them from Shibboleth. We and Amazon carry the most flavors. You could buy them from Flapjack directly, and also some grocery stores carry them, but not a lot of flavors, Renee. So lots of places. Jody says she found them at Walmart. I found them at Walmart. I found them at Kroger. They're limited on the flavors though. So I actually buy them from the Shibboleth store. But if you want to buy them from Amazon, make sure you go through the food library first to find that. Y'all want to see that? Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. There is a physical store that you can visit in Kennesaw, Georgia. Let me show y'all one more thing then while we're here. Because I'm talking about it, I need to show. So I'm popping over into the food library. And I'm going to look up Mighty Muffin. Now, you know, there's some Kodiak muffins out there. They're not approved. There's some Kodiak products that are approved, but not their muffin. Okay, so this is what a Mighty Muffin looks like. It's a meal replacement, and one muffin is your portion. The reason I ate so many of these things in my first 20 days is because they tasted good. I knew I was staying in EFB, and they kept me satisfied. They're filling. See these two links right here? If you want to buy it from the Shibboleth store, you click on the green link. If you want to buy it from Amazon and give a little 4 pennies on the dollar back to Shibboleth, then you can find it on here. And let me just tell you another secret. When you get to Amazon through this, if you put, thank you, Renee. Renee, it's funny. I have a master's degree in education, and I used to be a teacher and a principal. So you're right, Renee. It's funny that you could recognize that. Renee on Facebook said, you're such a teacher. I'm a teacher too. So if you click here, then it's going to take you to Amazon. Shibboleth will get 4 cents on the dollar back, and depending on what you're purchasing. And then, so let's say that you put a Mighty Muffin in here, but then you say, you know, I really need a new iPad. And you put a whole iPad in there, that will help the ministry. So absolutely, I would love for you to go through the food library to get to Amazon anytime you want to order something. And if you use this link to get to Amazon, fill up your cart, and then you didn't really want those at the time, you could take them out. We still get credit. It's just that using this link to get there helps us. That's interesting, isn't it? All right, well, I am going to hop off now, but I mean, it's like, I want to teach y'all so many things, but just make sure you're working through the fast track. The fast track laps and watching that video and doing those is just like getting a live webinar. Okay. It's me showing you how to use all of these features of the website. Very, very important. They're just pre-recorded. All right. Bye, everybody.